So I'm back to talk about the Renters' Rights Bill, which is going to bring in a lot of major reforms that will result in a dramatic shift in the private rental sector for landlords and agents. Now, I'm Darren Cope, owner of Cope & Co, specialist letting agent in Derby for the last 25 years. Now, this is part of a series of videos in which I look at the different aspects of the bill, what it means for landlords, and what as an agent we can do to help negotiate those transitions, those changes. So in this one, we're talking about the standard and condition of the properties. Now, the bill will introduce what is called the Decent Home Standard, or DHS, not the furniture place. This standard is currently used in social housing, and the bill will extend it to the private rented sector. Now, the Decent Home Standard will set out clear standards and requirements for rented properties and will provide local councils with effective and proportionate enforcement powers should they find that a property isn't up to scratch or doesn't meet the standards. At the moment, if a rental property is deemed not up to standard, it's the courts that decide on a prosecution and a judge who decides on the penalty for the landlord. The Renters' Rights Bill will grant new powers to local councils without getting the courts involved, to be able to issue civil penalties up to £7,000 to landlords who fail to keep their property free from serious hazards. Subsequently, if a landlord fails to comply with any enforcement action, they can be criminally prosecuted, and a rent repayment order may be either sought by the tenant or the local authority. I'll talk about rent repayment orders that keep cropping up and in a later video about enforcement and investigatory powers. But for the moment, I'll just say that they aren't very pleasant. Now, in the letting sector, we already have the Homes Fit for Human Habitation Act 2018. So why do we need another set of rules to follow? Well, in a nutshell, the Homes Fit for Human Habitation, FFHH as it's known, is a law that applies to landlords who must ensure that the property is fit to live in, while the Decent Home Standard is a set of criteria for the actual property itself. That's the sort of simple distinction. Additionally, AWAB's law will also be applied to the private rental sector, which sets out clear legal expectations about the time frames within which landlords must take action to make homes safe where they contain serious hazards. Now, AWAB's law, for those who don't know, it relates to the tragic and very avoidable death of 2-year-old Awab Ishak, who died due to prolonged exposure to mould and damp in his social rented home. Now, it was a campaign by the Manchester Evening News, Shelter, and Awab's family that subsequently led to Awab's law. It was introduced for social housing, and as I say, it's coming over to the private rental sector. It's being extended to the private rental sector to ensure tenants are empowered to challenge dangerous conditions at the end of the day, and that all landlords must take swift action to make sure homes are safe. The measures in the bill will allow new requirements to be set, requiring private rental sector landlords to address hazards very quickly, especially damp and mould. Now, if landlords don't comply, tenants, as usual, will be able to bring enforcement action against them through the courts, etc. Now, I already believe that regular property inspections are vital to both ensuring properties are being maintained properly by the tenant and that the terms of the tenancy agreement are also being adhered to. Now, the introduction of the Decent Home Standard and Awab's law make these visits even more important, not only to keep tenants safe and healthy, but to keep landlords and their properties both compliant and safe from prosecution. Obviously, we're here to help. We're here to help you negotiate these things coming into force. If you want to contact us about anything to do with the Renters' Rights Bill or anything to do with letting properties, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. We've got a trained team. We're all here to help. What we have done for the Renters' Rights Bill, we've created a brand new service within Cope & Co, in which we've bundled all of our lettings and property management services together under one simple monthly payment, which will just make things a whole lot easier moving forward. Watch the final video in the series on Let Simple and see if that will be useful to you. Now, as I've said, this video and the Let Simple video and all the other Renters' Rights Bill videos can be accessed at rentersrightsbill.com. Again, thanks for watching. Any questions, get in touch. I hope you find the information really useful.